Jennifer Lopez arrived at the set of The View that morning with her usual radiant energy, dressed impeccably in a tailored white suit that exuded both elegance and confidence. The mood on set was initially upbeat, as producers and crew members bustled about with their final preparations. Jennifer had appeared on the show multiple times before, but there was something different about this particular appearance. The air was thick with anticipation, as whispers among the staff hinted that Whoopi Goldberg had planned to address some controversial comments Jennifer had made during a recent interview about the state of modern entertainment and the role of veteran performers in Hollywood. As the opening music faded and the cameras rolled, Jennifer flashed her signature smile to the audience, her eyes briefly locking with Whoopi's. For a fleeting second, there was warmth in that gaze, but it quickly vanished, replaced by a steely determination on both sides. Joy Behar kicked off the conversation, asking Jennifer about her upcoming projects and philanthropic efforts, and for a while, the exchange remained cordial, peppered with laughter and applause. But the tone began to shift when Whoopi leaned forward, her voice calm but edged with a seriousness that commanded attention, and posed a question that would ignite the tension. "Jennifer, you've had an incredible career, but recently you suggested that some of us older performers should know when to step aside for the new generation. Could you elaborate on what you meant by that?" Jennifer took a breath, fully aware that the moment she spoke would define the rest of the interview. She chose her words carefully at first, her voice steady. "What I meant was that the industry evolves, and sometimes we all have to recognize when it's time to create space for new voices. I have deep respect for those who came before me, but I think part of our legacy is knowing when to pass the torch," the audience murmured, some nodding in agreement, others glancing nervously at Whoopi, whose expression had hardened. Whoopi crossed her arms, her voice lowering as she responded, "Pass the torch? You think we should just fade away because you say it's time? I've been fighting for representation and fairness in this industry long before you ever stepped onto a stage, Jennifer." The tension was palpable now, every eye in the studio fixed on the two women as the conversation took on the cadence of a standoff. The other hosts tried to interject, but the intensity of the exchange left little room for mediation. Jennifer's smile faltered, replaced by a determined set to her jaw as she leaned forward, unwilling to back down. "I'm not saying anyone should fade away, Whoopi," Jennifer said, her tone firmer now. "But sometimes hanging on too tightly blocks opportunities for others who deserve their chance. It's not about erasing history. It's about shaping the future." Whoopi shook her head, the disbelief evident on her face. "That sounds a lot like ageism, Jennifer. Are you saying that experience doesn't matter anymore? That those of us who've paved the way should just sit quietly on the sidelines?" The audience reacted audibly, gasping at the escalating clash. The chemistry that had once existed between the two stars was disintegrating before everyone's eyes. Jennifer's frustration became visible as she gestured with her hands, struggling to articulate her point without further inflaming the situation. "No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that leadership means knowing when to uplift others, not just yourself. I've stepped back in certain areas to let others shine. Why is it wrong to suggest others do the same?" Whoopi's voice grew sharper. "Because you're not talking about stepping back voluntarily, Jennifer. You're talking about pushing people out. That's the difference. And it's easy to say that when you're still at the top of your game, still filling arenas, still landing movie roles. You're not being asked to step aside, you're asking others to do it for your convenience." The heat in her words filled the studio, and the audience fell silent, sensing the gravity of the moment. Jennifer's eyes narrowed, her composure slipping as she replied, "That's not fair. I've worked hard for everything I have. I'm not asking for convenience, I'm asking for fairness. There are so many talented young artists who never get their shot because the same names keep filling the same spots over and over." The exchange had shifted from polite disagreement to outright confrontation, and the tension was now so thick it seemed to hum in the air. The producers gestured frantically from behind the cameras, but neither woman seemed willing to yield. The atmosphere became even more charged when Whoopi leaned forward, her voice dropping into a quieter, but no less fierce, Register. Let me tell you something, Jennifer. Fairness isn't just about stepping aside. It's about mentoring, supporting, lifting as you climb. I don't see you bringing these young artists onto your tours or into your films. You want people to move over, but what are you doing to bring them with you? The accusation hit hard, and for a moment, Jennifer was silent, the question hanging in the air. Then, with a determined glint in her eye, she responded, "You don't know what I do behind the scenes. You don't see the scholarships, the mentorship programs, the time I spend trying to open doors. Don't assume you know me, Whoopi. Just because I'm not shouting it from the rooftops doesn't mean I'm not doing the work." The audience was divided now, some cheering for Jennifer's passion, others rallying behind Whoopi's defense of legacy and experience. The energy in the room was electric, crackling with the clash of two strong-willed icons. Joy Behar and the other co-hosts tried again to steer the conversation back to safer ground, but the momentum of the argument was unstoppable. Jennifer and Whoopi were locked in a verbal duel that neither seemed able or willing to disengage from. Jennifer's voice rose slightly, emotion thickening her words. "I came here today to have a conversation about my work, my art, my passion. Not to be attacked for wanting to see change in an industry that needs it. I respect you, Whoopi, but respect doesn't mean agreeing with everything you say or do." Whoopi's eyes flashed as she retorted, "And I respect your right to your opinion, but don't come on this show and tell me or anyone else when it's time to go. We've earned our place, and no one gets to take that away." The back and forth had moved beyond the original topic, touching on deeper issues of respect, legacy, and the struggle for space in an industry known for its brutal competitiveness. As the argument raged on, the producers had no choice but to cut to an unscheduled commercial break, the screen fading to black as the audience erupted into a mix of applause, gasps, and murmured conversations. But even off camera, the confrontation continued, with Jennifer rising from her seat, shaking her head in visible frustration. Whoopi remained seated, watching Jennifer with a mixture of defiance and disappointment. When the show returned from the break, Jennifer was nowhere to be seen, having made the decision to walk off rather than continue the heated exchange. The co-hosts attempted to recover the segment, offering platitudes about differing opinions and the importance of open dialogue, but the mood was irrevocably altered. The cameras captured Whoopi sitting in contemplative silence, the weight of the encounter lingering heavily in the air. Backstage, the tension remained high as Jennifer was surrounded by her team, her hands trembling slightly as the adrenaline of the argument coursed through her. "I didn't come here for this," she muttered, her voice low but fierce. "I came here to inspire, not to be ambushed." Meanwhile, social media exploded with clips of the altercation, fans and commentators dissecting every word, every gesture, every moment of eye contact between the two stars. Hashtags like hashtag #JLOvesWhoopi and hashtag The View Clash began trending worldwide, as viewers took sides and pundits weighed in on the broader implications of the argument. Was Jennifer right to advocate for more space for younger artists? Was Whoopi justified in defending the rights of seasoned performers to hold their ground? The debate extended far beyond the walls of the studio, sparking conversations about ageism, opportunity, and respect in every corner of the internet. In the days that followed, both Jennifer and Whoopi released statements attempting to clarify their positions. Jennifer emphasized her commitment to supporting new talent and fostering inclusivity, while Whoopi reiterated her belief in the value of experience and the importance of honoring those who have paved the way. The incident became a flashpoint in a larger cultural conversation, cited in think pieces, talk shows, and podcasts as emblematic of the tensions that exist within the entertainment industry and beyond. Despite the initial shock of the altercation, many praised both women for their passion and conviction, even as they disagreed on the substance of their arguments. The clash was seen by some as a necessary confrontation, a moment of truth that forced uncomfortable but important questions into the spotlight. For Jennifer, the experience served as both a challenge and a catalyst. In the weeks that followed, She doubled down on her efforts to mentor young artists, launching new initiatives and partnering with organizations dedicated to creating opportunities for underrepresented talent. She spoke candidly in interviews about the need for difficult conversations and the importance of standing firm in one's beliefs, even in the face of criticism. Whoopi, too, used the moment as a platform to advocate for respect and recognition for veteran performers, highlighting the ways in which experience and wisdom can coexist with fresh perspectives. Both women, despite their clash, emerged with their reputations intact, if not strengthened, by their willingness to speak their truths in such a public forum. The moment on The View became a defining chapter in both of their careers, a reminder that sometimes the most powerful conversations are the ones that push us outside our comfort zones. The fallout from the heated argument between Jennifer Lopez and Whoopi Goldberg on The View continued to reverberate across the entertainment industry, with media outlets, commentators, and fans dissecting the incident from every possible angle. Morning news programs replayed the fiery exchange in endless loops, their anchors offering measured takes on the clash while scrolling through a barrage of tweets and Instagram posts reacting to the drama. Tabloid headlines screamed of a Hollywood civil war, pitting generations against each other, while more thoughtful publications framed the confrontation as a reflection of broader societal tensions about age, opportunity, and respect. Jennifer, always conscious of her public image, took to social media to post a lengthy message, expressing regret that the discussion had devolved into confrontation, but standing firm in her belief that creating space for the next generation was not an attack on those who came before. Her words were carefully chosen, emphasizing her admiration for Whoopi's contributions to the industry while reiterating her commitment to fostering new talent. The post was met with both praise and criticism. Supporters applauded her courage in addressing uncomfortable truths, while detractors accused her of disrespecting a beloved icon. Meanwhile, Whoopi Goldberg addressed the situation on The View the following day, using her opening monologue to offer her perspective on the incident. With characteristic candor, she acknowledged that the conversation had grown more heated than intended, but made it clear that she stood by her defense of seasoned artists who continued to contribute meaningfully to the industry. "There's enough room for all of us," Whoopi told the audience, her voice firm but measured. "But no one gets to tell me or anyone else when our time is up. We decide that for ourselves." Her words were met with thunderous applause from the studio audience, many of whom felt that Whoopi had articulated what countless artists across generations had long felt but rarely voiced so publicly. The moment became another viral clip shared widely with captions like "Whoopi speaks her truth" and "a masterclass in grace under fire." It was clear that while the clash had divided public opinion, it had also sparked meaningful reflection and dialogue. Behind the scenes, producers at The View scrambled to manage the fallout, holding emergency meetings about guest bookings, messaging, and damage control. The show's ratings had seen a noticeable spike in the wake of the altercation, but the team was keenly aware of the fine line between lively debate and outright hostility. Internal emails urged staff to tread carefully in future interviews, emphasizing the need for respectful discourse even on the most contentious of topics. Other talk shows and media platforms seized the opportunity to book both Jennifer and Whoopi, eager to capture their thoughts in exclusive interviews that promised insight into one of the most talked about television moments of the year. Invitations poured in, but both stars remained selective, choosing carefully when and where to continue the conversation. For Jennifer, the experience was a reminder of the risks and rewards of speaking out, and she approached subsequent interviews with a new level of caution and intention. The incident also had a ripple effect within the entertainment community, with actors, musicians, directors, and producers weighing in publicly and privately on the issues raised during the clash. Some praised Jennifer for having the courage to address what they saw as an unspoken reality in Hollywood, that opportunities for younger and emerging talent were often limited by the enduring dominance of established names. Others defended Whoopi's stance, arguing that experience and longevity should be celebrated, not sidelined, and that the entertainment industry's real problem lay in the lack of opportunities created at all levels. not the continued success of veteran artists. Roundtable discussions, panel debates, and op-eds multiplied in the wake of the incident, with the Jennifer-Whoopi clash cited as a case study in the challenges of balancing tradition with progress. The conversation had moved beyond two individuals to become a touchpoint in a larger cultural dialogue. As the weeks turned into months, both Jennifer and Whoopi found ways to channel the energy of that explosive moment into positive action. Jennifer expanded her mentorship programs, launching a new initiative focused on supporting young women of color in music and film. She made surprise visits to art schools, hosted workshops, and offered internships and grants designed to help emerging talent break through the barriers she had once faced. She spoke at conferences and summits about the importance of lifting others as you rise, using her platform to advocate for systemic change within the industry. Whoopi, for her part, became an even more vocal advocate for the contributions of veteran artists, collaborating with unions and advocacy groups to push for greater recognition and support for performers over 50. She used her platform on The View and beyond to celebrate the work of seasoned professionals, highlighting their ongoing relevance and the unique perspectives they brought to their craft. The initial shock of the confrontation gave way to a new chapter in both women's legacies, one defined not by the argument itself, but by how they chose to respond and grow in its aftermath. The clash became a frequent topic in interviews, documentaries, and retrospectives about Hollywood's evolving landscape, cited as a turning point in the conversation about inclusion, opportunity, and respect across generations. Scholars and critics dissected the moment in essays and books, exploring its significance not just as a celebrity spat, but as a reflection of deeper societal shifts. For fans and observers, it remained a vivid memory, a moment when two icons, each formidable in her own right, collided in a way that forced everyone watching to think more deeply about the issues at play. The encounter had left its mark, not just on The View, but on the broader cultural consciousness. Jennifer and Whoopi eventually crossed paths again at a major awards ceremony, their first public encounter since the infamous episode. Cameras flashed as they exchanged polite greetings on the red carpet, both women radiating professionalism and poise. The moment was brief, but it spoke volumes, a silent acknowledgement of the shared history that now linked them, and perhaps a quiet truce. The media captured the encounter, headlines proclaiming Jennifer and Whoopi reunite, no drama this time, and fans speculated about whether the two might one day collaborate or share a stage again. While neither woman addressed the encounter directly, their actions that evening, posing for photos, offering warm smiles, and focusing on the achievements being celebrated, sent a clear message. They had moved forward, each in her own way, stronger for having faced a storm. In the years that followed, the memory of the clash remained part of the public imagination, revisited in anniversary specials and listicles about television's most memorable moments. But more importantly, it served as a catalyst for ongoing conversations about equity, representation, and the complex dynamics of fame and legacy. Jennifer's initiatives bore fruit as many of the young artists she supported found success, often crediting her mentorship as a key factor in their journeys. Whoopi's advocacy helped drive policy changes within industry guilds and unions, resulting in new protections and opportunities for veteran performers. Both women, despite their differences, contributed in meaningful ways to a more inclusive and respectful entertainment landscape. And though the clash had begun as a moment of discord, it ultimately became a powerful example of how conflict, when met with reflection and action, can lead to growth, change, and deeper understanding.